You know that feeling when you're shopping online for something specific and within like 10 minutes you have 18 different browser tabs open?
Oh, yeah. It's the absolute
Right.
worst.
You're squinting at product specs across 4 different sites, trying to figure out if, review number 42 was written by a real human being or a bot.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just endlessly scrolling and comparing and filtering. It is just a massive cognitive load.
It really is exhausting manual labor.
But here's the thing. While you are doing all of that exhausting work, AI assistants are currently handling nearly 1 billion prompts every single day, doing that exact synthesis work for people.
Yeah, 1 billion. It is a staggering volume of queries.
It's wild.
And it's not just contained within, experimental tech bubbles anymore. Out of those billion daily prompts, we are seeing roughly 1.3 billion monthly referrals pointing outward to actual websites.
Wow.
So people are literally using AI as the starting line for their internet journey.
Which completely bypasses the traditional search bar altogether. And that is exactly what we're getting into today on this deep dive.
Yes.
We're looking at a really compelling excerpt from the e-commerce series called the AI Shift.
Yeah.
And the core question we're tackling today, based on this material, is whether AI chat is going to just completely obliterate traditional e-commerce search.
Right.
We're going to look past the usual tech hype, break down how you and I will actually be navigating the web to buy things, and most importantly, and I found this fascinating reveal, the underlying and honestly surprising mechanism that dictates which products an AI actually chooses to recommend to you. Okay, let's unpack this.
I love it. And I think diving into the mechanics is really the only way to understand this shift. Because right now the industry conversation is framed as this zero-sum game.
Totally, like a winner-take-all situation.
Exactly. The prevailing narrative is this dramatic binary,
Yeah.
AI is going to kill traditional search entirely. But the reality of the architecture and how consumer behavior actually works is far more complex. It's not a strict replacement. It is much more of a branching evolution.
Right, so let's establish some baselines before we, bury the traditional search bar in the digital graveyard.
Fair enough.
The source material has some wild statistics. It notes that 74% of e-commerce businesses are already actively adjusting their content to be AI chat friendly.
That's a huge majority.
And another 24% are planning to do so this year. That is 98% of the industry. So, the panic is very real.
Oh, absolutely.
But even with that massive pivot, the source is clear that traditional search still does certain tasks much better than an AI chatbot ever could.
Yeah, for sure. If we break down the fundamental mechanics, traditional search, where you just type in keywords and receive a ranked scrolling list of blue links or image tiles that is highly optimized for visual comparison,
Right.
it's great for broad category browsing.
Let's say I'm looking for a mid-century modern coffee table, or like just a plain black t-shirt. I don't want a conversational essay from an AI about the history of cotton, right? Or the definition of mid-century design.
Exactly. You just want to see the shirts.
Yes. I want to see 50 black t-shirts on my screen all at once so I can instantly compare the cut, the drape, and the price. Traditional search is basically like walking into a massive digital Sears catalog.
That's a really good analogy.
You know the section you want, you flip to the visual grid, and your brain does the rapid processing.
That is a perfect way to look at it. Traditional search thrives when you have a broad idea of what you want, and your primary filtering mechanism is your own visual preference.
Mm-hmm.
But the limitation, or the mechanical wall that traditional search hits, is that it relies heavily on keyword matching and tokenization. It fundamentally struggles to understand complex intent.
And the source gives a fantastic example of this that really made it click for me. Imagine you are planning a trip to Scotland.
Oh, the hiking boots example.
Yes, exactly. If you go to a traditional search bar and just type waterproof hiking boots, you're perfectly fine. You'll get thousands of relevant results.
Right.
But try typing this into a traditional search engine. Quote, I need boots for a rainy week-long trek in Scotland. I have wide feet, and I want something under $150.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
No. If you do that, traditional search completely shatters.
It breaks because of how traditional crawlers and search algorithms weight individual words.
How so?
Well, a traditional search engine looks at that long string of text and isolates the keywords, but it doesn't really understand the relationship between them.
Ah, I see.
So it might heavily weight the word Scotland and start showing you, tartan kilts.
Right.
Or it might isolate under 150 and show you discounted running shoes that aren't even boots. It's treating your query as a bag of disconnected words rather than a cohesive set of interdependent constraints.
But if you take that exact same prompt, the week in Scotland, the wide feet, the strict budget, and hand it to an AI assistant, it is a completely natural interaction.
Because large language models, or LLMs, are built on attention mechanisms.
Mhm.
They mathematically map the semantic relationships between the words in your sentence. So, the AI understands that Scotland, in this specific context, implies wet, rugged terrain.
Which is why you need the boots.
Right, and it understands that wide feet is a specific fit requirement modifying the noun boots.
Right.
And it knows that $150 is a hard price ceiling for the entire query. It parses those dependencies.
So if traditional search is that massive self-serve Sears catalog, AI search is acting more as a highly specialized personal shopper.
Exactly.
You give it an impossibly specific list of demands, and it goes into the back room to find the exact 3 boxes that fit the criteria.
Which introduces a massive psychological shift for the consumer.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, we are moving from the mechanics of parsing a prompt to the psychology of trusting a result.
Right.
With traditional search, the engine hands you 10 links. The burden of labor is entirely on you. You have to open those links, read the technical specifications, cross-reference the user reviews, and make the final synthesis.
That's a lot of work.
It is. But when you use AI, the system is performing that synthesis labor on your behalf.
So it's doing the reading, the comparing, and the concluding.
Yes. It synthesizes a vast amount of unstructured data into a direct conversational recommendation. And the source points out that for a significant portion of online shopping, especially for purchases where you do not want to spend 3 hours researching, consumers are highly inclined to accept that synthesized conclusion.
Okay, I have to stop you there and play devil's advocate for a second, because this is where I get a bit skeptical.
Oh, for it.
Are consumers genuinely ready to blindly trust an AI to synthesize product reviews and tell them what to buy?
It's a valid question.
I mean, we have all seen the news stories. We've seen generative AI hallucinate legal cases, invent historical facts, and, confidently tell people to put glue on their pizza.
Oh, yeah. The glue on the pizza was wild.
Right. So if I'm spending my hard-earned money on a waterproof boot that needs to actually keep my feet dry in the Highlands, why would I trust a system that is prone to making things up?
That is a very necessary pushback. And if we were talking about people just copying and pasting product links into a standalone, raw conversational model, like a basic ChatGPT prompt, just to ask for advice, that trust barrier would be massive.
Yeah.
But that is not what's happening here. The shift isn't about consumers leaving retail environments to go to a separate AI website.
Okay, then where is it happening?
The AI is being embedded directly into the retail platforms you already trust. Take Amazon's Rufus, for example.
Oh, right. That's their native AI assistant, the one built right into the app.
Correct. Rufus is a prime example of a system using something called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation.
A RAG. Got it. And this is crucial for solving the hallucination problem you mentioned. Instead of the AI relying purely on its vast, generalized training data, where it might invent a fake product or hallucinate a feature.
Like the glue. Like the glue, exactly. Instead of doing that, a RAG system acts like it's taking an open book test. The AI is confined to a specific closed data set.
So it's not searching the entire Wild West of the internet. It is only looking at Amazon's specific catalog.
Exactly. You are on a specific blender's product page, and you ask Rufus, does this blender crush ice effectively? The AI isn't guessing based on what blenders generally do. It is actively retrieving the exact technical specs listed by the manufacturer on that specific page and scanning the hundreds of verified user reviews for that specific item to synthesize an answer.
Oh, weird.
So it grounds its response in actual platform-specific data.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. The guardrails are up. And because it's happening inside the Amazon ecosystem or whatever retail site you're on, retailers simply cannot opt out of this.
No, they can't.
You can't just tell your digital team, well, our target demographic doesn't use AI chatbots, so let's just focus on our traditional search bar. The AI is now the mediator sitting right on top of your traditional catalog.
Yeah. It is entirely unavoidable. If you sell online, you have to operate under the assumption that an AI will be the entity reading your product page, not a human.
Which brings up a mechanical question that the source answers in a really unexpected way.
Yeah.
If this embedded AI is doing this synthesis work on our behalf, like if it's scanning the page to figure out if the blender crushes ice, how does it actually read the page?
Right.
Because it doesn't have human eyes. It can't look at a beautifully designed graphic and instantly understand it.
Yeah.
So how does it extract that information?
It all comes down to code, specifically the underlying semantic architecture of your website.
Semantic architecture.
Yes. When an AI assistant scans a product page, it is searching for structured data markup, clear heading tags in the HTML, and alt text on images.
Okay.
It relies completely on the code to tell it what a product is, what the price is, and what the key features are.
And here's where it gets really interesting. This was the plot twist from the source material that I found absolutely fascinating.
It's such a good point.
That specific layer of code, the structured markup, the descriptive alt text, is the exact same layer that determines whether a screen reader can make sense of a web page for a visually impaired user.
Yes.
It is the identical technology.
It is completely symbiotic. Let's think about how a screen reader operates. A human using a screen reader does not care that your add to cart button is a highly stylized neon green oval, right?
Right, they can't see the neon green.
Exactly. The screen reader software needs the back-end code to explicitly define that the element is a button and what action occurs when it is triggered. Similarly, if you have a photo of a hiking boot, a screen reader needs descriptive text, alt text, coded behind the image. Otherwise, it just announces image and the user gets zero information.
And the LLM parsing the page for a shopper needs that exact same data.
Precisely. If a page is visually stunning but structurally devoid of semantic tags, it is fundamentally inaccessible to a screen reader. And by extension, it is completely unreadable to an AI assistant.
That is wild.
Right. A traditional Google crawler might just look for the keyword boot and index the page anyway. But an LLM needs the structural context to synthesize an answer about the boot's features.
The source drops a quote that really hits this home. It says that without this foundational accessibility layer, an e-commerce catalog risks becoming, quote, invisible to both people and machines.
Invisible.
Invisible, that is such a powerful word.
And it radically alters how corporate leadership has to view this issue.
How so?
Well, if we look back over the last 2 decades, web accessibility has primarily been framed by businesses as a compliance issue, right? An ethical obligation, or maybe a legal risk.
Yeah, definitely.
And the unfortunate reality of corporate budgeting is that when money gets tight, those initiatives are the first to be pushed to the back burner.
Sure. A product manager looks at the budget and says, well, we'll fix the screen reader compatibility next fiscal year. The risk of an ADA lawsuit is low right now, and we need to focus on driving immediate revenue.
But this AI shift changes the math entirely. Accessibility is no longer a deferred legal risk. It is an immediate, measurable revenue driver.
Because of the AI shoppers.
Exactly. Because if your site is not structurally accessible, the AI personal shopper simply cannot see your inventory. It cannot recommend your products. You are losing sales in real time today in this new discovery channel.
Man, to really cement this for everyone listening, let's move away from the abstract idea of semantic HTML and talk about what this actually looks like in practice.
Let's do it.
Because the source points out that massive, well-funded brands are accidentally hiding their own products from AI right now.
They are, and the examples are painfully common. Let's look at the fashion industry.
Okay.
It is incredibly standard practice for a clothing retailer to design a beautiful, highly stylized sizing chart or an intricate visual graphic detailing the sustainable materials they use.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
And to ensure it looks perfectly on brand across all devices, they bake all of that text entirely into a single image file, like a JPEG or a PNG.
I see this constantly. You scroll down the product page, and the care instructions aren't text you can highlight with your mouse. They were just baked into a picture of a tag.
Right. Now, if that image does not have comprehensive alt text attached to it in the code, which it rarely does because it takes time to write out an AI assistant, scanning that page cannot extract the sizing information or the material data at all.
It's just a dead end.
To the machine, it is just a blank, meaningless rectangle.
So if a user is chatting with Rufus and asks, does this specific brand of jacket run small in the shoulders, and is it machine washable? The AI literally does not know.
It has no idea.
The answer is sitting right there on the screen for a human eye to see, but the machine is totally blind to it.
Which forces the AI into a corner. There are really only 2 outcomes here, and neither involve the AI trying harder,
Right.
The system doesn't suddenly develop intuition, and guess what the blank image says?
So what's the first outcome?
The first outcome is that it attempts to infer the answer from surrounding disjointed text, guesses wrong, and gives the user wildly inaccurate sizing advice.
Ouch.
Yeah. The user buys the jacket, it doesn't fit, they return it, and brand trust is damaged.
And the second outcome?
The AI simply ignores your product entirely.
Yeah.
It just moves on and recommends competitors' jacket whose page features properly formatted, machine-readable HTML text for their sizing guide. You lose the sale entirely just because your page was a structural mess.
That is brutal.
Yeah.
It's like spending $1 million to build a gorgeous flagship retail store on the busiest street in the city, but you forget to install a door.
That's exactly what it is.
The products look amazing to the glass, but the AI personal shopper physically cannot get inside to read the price tags.
Yep.
So if I am listening to this and I run an e-commerce business or I'm on a digital marketing team somewhere, my heart rate is definitely up right now.
I would imagine so.
Am I supposed to panic? Like, do I need to pause our entire roadmap, hire a team of AI futurists, and build a massive, complex AI optimization strategy from the ground up?
The reassuring answer is absolutely not.
Okay, good.
You do not need to invent a parallel futuristic strategy just for AI. The most actionable takeaway from the source material is that the exact same foundational work serves traditional SEO, human accessibility, and AI chat discovery.
So it's the ultimate two birds, one stone scenario.
Exactly. 3 birds, even.
Okay, walk me through that. Let's look at the mechanics of the solution.
It boils down to executing basic internet hygiene that we have known about for years.
Okay.
First, you need clean semantic HTML. That means using proper heading tags like H1s, H2s, bulleted lists, and actual readable text instead of text baked into images.
Right.
Think of it like giving the AI a perfectly organized, clearly labeled filing cabinet instead of dumping a box of loose, crumpled receipts on its desk and asking it to figure out your taxes.
The structured tags tell the AI exactly what the data represents.
Exactly. Second, as we discussed, you need accurate and detailed alt text on every single image. This serves the visually impaired user relying on a screen reader, and it provides the literal descriptive data that AI uses to comprehend the visual assets on your page.
And the final piece the source highlights is structured data markup, specifically schema code.
Yes.
Explain how that works for the AI, because I know that's been around for a while in the SEO world.
Schema markup is essentially a standardized vocabulary added to your backend code. It explicitly defines the context of the information on the page.
How does it do that?
So instead of just having the text $49.99 floating somewhere on the screen, schema code explicitly tags it so a machine knows this specific number represents the current price in US dollars.
Got it.
It tags another string of text as in stock and another as average user rating.
Which is how we used to get those nice rich snippets in traditional Google search results, right?
Right.
Where the price and star ratings show up right on the search page.
Yes. That is traditional SEO best practice 101. But it turns out that exact same structured markup is the primary feed that LLMs and AI bots rely on today to rapidly and confidently pull factual data for their synthesized answers.
You know, there's an incredible irony to all of this.
What's that?
Well, for the last couple of years, the entire business world has been in a sheer panic about AI disrupting everything, worrying they don't have the technical chops to survive the revolution.
Oh, totally.
But the brands that are going to get crushed in this new AI discovery era aren't the ones who failed to invent a sci-fi playbook. They are the brands that have been cutting corners on basic content structure and accessibility for the last 10 years. They prioritized flashy, unreadable design over fundamental functionality. And now, all that technical debt is coming due.
It is a phenomenal equalizer, the futuristic, seemingly insurmountable problem of how do we get an advanced neural network to recommend our products. It's entirely solved by executing fundamental, old-school digital best practices properly.
Wow.
You don't need magic, you just need a well-structured website.
So, to bring this all together for you listening right now, let's revisit the core mission of this deep dive. Is AI chat completely obliterating traditional e-commerce search?
Nope.
The answer is no. Traditional search is going to stick around as your digital Sears catalog. You will still use it for visual browsing, flipping through grids of products when you generally know what you want. But AI is rapidly accelerating as a parallel, massive discovery channel designed specifically for complex, highly constrained intent. It is your digital personal shopper.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean? It means the secret to being seen by that shopper is having structurally accessible content.
And that leads to a much broader and, frankly, provocative philosophical point that the source material touches on.
Oh.
Yeah, it really requires us to look at how change actually happens in our society.
What do you mean by that?
Well, think about the history of the internet. For the better part of 30 years, disability advocates, accessibility experts, and visually impaired users have pleaded with tech companies, retailers, and web developers to make the internet accessible for humans.
Right.
To add alt text, to use semantic HTML to ensure screen reader compatibility, and for 3 decades, a massive percentage of corporations essentially ignored them.
Because it was too expensive.
They claimed it was too expensive, too difficult, or simply not a high enough priority for the development roadmap.
Right. It was always pushed to next quarter. It was an ethical plea that just didn't move the financial needle enough to force action.
But now, almost overnight, the landscape has changed. AI is threatening the bottom line.
Yeah.
If your catalog is invisible to an AI assistant, you lose market share, you lose revenue, and your competitors win. And suddenly, because it impacts profitability, corporations are scrambling to fix their code, overhaul their markup, and implement the exact accessibility standards that advocates have been begging for since the 1990s.
Wow. They are finally doing the right thing. But only because the machines demanded it.
It is a striking paradox. It raises a very deep question about corporate priorities. Will the AI revolution accidentally create the most inclusive, human-accessible internet we have ever had, simply because it finally became profitable to do so?
That is wild to think
We're
about.
on the verge of building a universally accessible web, but we are doing it for the bots.
So that is a thought that is going to stick with me long after we finish here. We are finally building the accessible web for humans. But only because the financial threat of AI forced our hand. Incredible.
It really is.
Well, next time you find yourself staring at a screen with 18 tabs open, trying to manually cross-reference waterproof boots for a trip to Scotland, just remember all the invisible architecture and the bots working quietly behind the scenes, getting ready to close those tabs for you. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.